Also trending today, it's National Flag of Canada Day. At noon on this day back in 1965, the country's national flag was raised for the very first time on Parliament Hill. But it wasn't until 1996 that the National Day for the Canadian flag was declared. Manisa Danabalan joins us to talk more about this history. Hey, Manisa.
Hey, Kelly. The flag is a national symbol that unites Canadians and reflects on the common values that we take pride in: equality, inclusion, and freedom. But it's also viewed as an oppressive symbol by some people throughout Canada's Indigenous communities.
For 58 years, the maple leaf in red and white has been flying high in the sky as the symbol of Canada. But it hasn't always looked like this. Several different flags were used in Canada before our current one. For example, both before and after Confederation in 1867, Canada used the United Kingdom's Royal Union flag, commonly known as the Union Jack. The Canadian Red Ensign, another British flag, was used unofficially since the 1870s. While there were attempts to design a new flag in 1925 and 1946, it was quickly abandoned. Years after the Second World War, the public was divided. While some were in favor of a new flag, others were still attached to the Union Jack and the Canadian Red Ensign. In 1963, Lester B. Pearson was elected as Prime Minister.
As part of a broader overhaul of Canadian symbols and identity policies in the mid-1960s, wanting to move towards a flag design that would be more inclusive of modern Canada of the 1960s, that would be less explicitly attached to British symbolism than the Red Ensign had been.
He proposed an idea for a new flag with 3 red maple leaves bordered with 2 blue stripes, but it was opposed. Then George Stanley, Dean of Arts at the Royal Military College, came up with the flag we know today. In October 1964, a committee voted in favor of Stanley's concept. In 1965, thousands of Canadians gathered as the Canadian Red Ensign was lowered and the new national flag of Canada was hoisted.
It took a while for it to gain broader acceptance.
But the flag is not viewed as a symbol of acceptance by everyone.
Let's put it this way. If I had gone through residential school, if I had been put through the child welfare system in this country, if I had been living with no clean water for 30 years, I might feel a very different way about that flag. I would get it. But of course, everyone's different.
Cam Holmstrom, who runs an Indigenous PR firm, says everyone's memories with the flag varies, and he can't speak on everyone in the community.
It's a Canadian symbol. I don't know if it's necessarily our symbol, but the introduction of it, I think, marked a change in mindset from Canada at the time, because we went away from the Red Ensign, which really was that colonial symbol. And this was more of a symbol that was more us.
But more work needs to be done.
Yeah, some things have improved, but we're still so far behind. And I think the thing about it is that I know for a lot of people that flag around the world means a lot about hope and giving and that kind of good influence on the world. And I can see why people on the outside would look on it that way, because of good things Canada has done around the world. But that hasn't always reached within our own borders.
Holmstrom adds that in the last year, many Canadians probably started to look at the Canadian flag differently after convoy protesters plastered the Canadian flag everywhere during the occupation in Ottawa. Kelly?